You're listening to Reviving Kanehsatake Radio on RKR 101.7 FM in partnership with the Pines Reporter from the Eastern Door. We're building a community media hub to strengthen Indigenous storytelling and reporting here in Kanehsatake. Today I'm joined by Pines Reporter journalists Hadassah Alankar and Fern Marmont, and I'm your host Sterling Millette. So welcome to the show, Hadassah and Fern. How you girls doing?
Doing good. It's great to be here again, obviously.
So let's start off with you, Hadassah. We're going to go to your first article here. Alto survey reveals concerns opportunity. So let's dive into this. Maybe you can tell me what exactly the Alto project is.
So Alto is a massive high-speed train project, and this train is planned to connect Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City. This route will connect almost half of Canada's population, and the train will travel like 300 kilometers an hour, so it's super fast. The price tag for the project, however, is an estimated $60 to $90 billion. It's a huge project that's meant to make it easier for Canadians to get to and fro the major cities. For the information to the Kanehsatake community, the train will not travel through what the territory is here in Kanehsatake as we know it, but the estimated path of travel is many kilometers north. However, it will pass through what is the Kanehsatake's ancestral lands in the north.
And what did Caretaker Council member Brant Etienne have to say about this project?
Well, Brant Etienne said that the project actually presents an opportunity for the community. He thinks the community should consider using Kanehsatake's unique territorial position as leverage to cover costs, essential costs in the community. He said in an interview that the federal government has signaled they are willing to spend the money necessary to get the project done. As we said before, it's many billions of dollars. And therefore, in his opinion, the community could potentially negotiate with the government for long-term funding that could cover essential costs in the community.
So thank you for that. So we're actually going to stay with you this time here on we're going to go to another article from you, Hadassah. We're going to go to finance statement and funding delays. So why is the MCK behind in their financial reports?
Well, the MCK has been behind financial reports since 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic started. And the reason is not only the pandemic, according to Caretaker Council member Amy Beauvais, but also because there was a forensic audit done, which took a lot of time to complete. On top of that, the finance department at the MCK has been really understaffed. At one point, they didn't have the finance manager with them. So they didn't have enough people to get the fiscal report done on time over these years. So for this year, MCK is finishing the 2024-2025 fiscal year report, and hopefully that will be done very soon.
And what's the danger if they don't get them done on time?
Well, the danger is that some departments can go without funding, Amy Beauvais said. Ultimately, that could lead to an impact on services and transparency for the community.
And is there any solution that the MCK has offered?
Well, one solution is that they've changed their accounting system this past fiscal year, which works faster, more organized, according to Amy Beauvais. And that has helped the team to do this fiscal report in a more, timely manner. They've really been playing catch up this year. Another is that the finance team is fully staffed this fiscal year. So while they're playing catch up, they're also working a lot faster. Other than that, the council can lend a hand when needed, but ultimately it's the finance team that is working hard to really get things done. In good news, the fiscal report is set to be presented in June. And then after it's presented to the Caretaker Council, it'll be sent to Indigenous Services Canada, which would finalize the report.
So thank you for that one, Hadassah. If you're just listening now, we're talking with Pines Reporter journalists Hadassah Alankar and Fern Marmont, and I'm your host, Sterling Millette, and this is the Pines Reporter Recap. So let's move on to you, Fern. Harvesting wild onions responsibly. So you went up the mountain with Kane Montour. What did you learn about the wild onions?
Well, actually, I learned a lot up on Blue Mountain. I didn't realize that wild onions, which are also called wild leeks, ramps, or wild garlic, are also considered a vulnerable species by the Quebec government due to the fact that they can take from 7 to 10 years to regrow from seed. The Quebec government has tightened regulations on how much can be harvested. Only 50 bulbs, or roughly 200 grams, can be harvested. I also learned that as Blue Mountain is Kanehsatake territory, only community members can harvest wild onions there. Non-community members are fully able to harvest anywhere, but not on Kanehsatake territory. Kane shared with me that when he was younger, the whole forest floor was covered in wild onions, but now there are just small patches due to over-harvesting from community members and non-community members. I spoke with Watni Dio Will Garu, who told me that the wild onion is a springtime staple, a medicine that is used to cleanse one's body after the long winter. I didn't include this in the article, but Garu told me that you know when to go to pick the wild onions when the trilliums emerge.
Yes, and what are some of the concerns of Kanehsatake Ronu when it comes to these onions?
So I got to speak with Kathy Beauvais, and she shared with me that she doesn't personally approve of people picking and selling the wild onion, as wild onion is not only considered a vulnerable species, it is also seen as an important cultural medicine. Garu also spoke with me on how important it is for community to be able to have wild onions. Quote, "It adds to the cultural fabric of our community," end quote. I also didn't include this in the article, but Garu also shared with me that overharvesting is only one issue that is impacting the wild onion. Other factors such as dumping garbage in the forest, riding four-wheelers off trails, and improperly cutting down trees also impacts the environment of the wild onion. Garu said, quote, "We need to continue to teach each other the right ways to pick by hand, leave a few plants, and leave flowering plants," end quote. Montour told me that this is their second year patrolling the mountain during the spring and stopping people from illegally harvesting, and this year they have already seen a significant drop in non-community members and improper harvesting.
Thanks, Fern. Yeah, we have a lot of problems. A lot of people like to go up there because there's so much money to be made, although it does take a lot of work, but people will shortcut, dig it up with shovels, and they'll just kill the plant completely. So good job on that one. We will move on to you now, Hadassah, for one last article here. Locals compete in First Nations games. What's Coach Jeffrey Nelson's hopes for this year's volleyball teams at the games?
Well, the teams are looking ready to compete, he said. Jeffrey is hopeful that the teams could come back with a few medals. I saw some of the Facebook posts about the teams and they're looking really good, so let's cheer them on and follow along on how they're doing. But either way, Jeffrey did mention that he's really proud of the team as players. Not just as players, but as individuals. He said they are respectful and they're kind. So whether or not they come home with medals, the team can feel good about the fact that their character is really gold.
And what are some of the kids' reactions going up to Quebec City?
They are so excited. I mean, it's 4 days in Quebec City, and they're staying at a hotel. They have meals paid for. Aside from the FNEC games, the students, I heard, will get to go shopping. Allegedly, there's also a pool at the hotel. So when I talked to them, they were very excited. But really, they said that they want to have fun with their friends.
What more can you want when you're that age, right? So that's about all we got for this week. But before we wrap this up, is there anything that either you, Hadassah, or you, Fern, would like to add to this?
Well, I would like to add that I will be going on vacation just as Fern did. So I won't be here for a few weeks, and Fern will take the helm.
You will be sorely missed, Hadassah.
Just like we missed you.
Yes, we will miss you for sure, and it's next Friday, right? Are you gonna be here, or you're gone for next Friday?
I'm gone next Friday.
All right, so this is the last Friday for Hadassah for how many weeks?
I think it'll be 3 unless I can get it together for the 3rd week, but we'll see.
All right. Well, no, you take your time, you enjoy your vacation, and me and Fern will hold down the fort over here. So once again, thank you again, ladies. This was awesome. As always. And that was a conversation with the Pines reporter, journalist Hadassah Alankar and Fern Marmont from the Eastern Door. It's all part of a collaboration with Reviving Kanehsatake Radio to grow Indigenous media and community reporting here in Kanehsatake. For more local stories and updates, stay tuned here to RKR 101.7 FM. Or go ahead, grab yourself a copy of this week's Eastern Door.